All right. Test.
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 Four, three. Hey there, and welcome back to segment number 3 of Convincing Idiots. This is Millennial Nick, along with Gen X Brian and Zennial Dean. And you know, guys, we just celebrated 3 years together a couple weeks ago doing this podcast, and we gushed a little bit over one another and how much we enjoy being around each other. But I just gotta say, you guys are just a couple of my heroes when it comes to podcasting. At least one of you are, certainly editing, but definitely, you guys are really up there. I admire you. Much like we have our own personal Mount Rushmores, if you will, as we like to do here, our own favorite pop culture heroes. We are a pop culture podcast. Why not discuss some of our all-time pop culture heroes? Now, when discussing this, gentlemen, this could be an actor or a performer or any type of thing within the realm of pop culture. It could be because of the character that they play. It could be because of characters. It could be because
the
of who
character itself.
A multitude. Yeah, it could be a multitude of different things. But we're talking about heroes in pop culture. If it's a performer, if it's a character they've portrayed, anything of the sort. It's very loosey-goosey here. You make your own rules. We are going to discuss who are on your pop culture Mount Rushmore. So I'm going to start off, if you guys don't mind.
You do, but go ahead.
First off, I'm straight up innovation. There are many performers that are very inventive in the ways that they maybe get a character across. Perhaps when they read a script, it comes off a certain way. But there are a few performers who do an outstanding job as taking a character and really putting their own personality into it and making their own, making the character their own. And it doesn't even always have to be a character. Sometimes it can just be a product or a product line. Some great innovators that I know of are our friends at RPM Bike Shop. What they have done with the electric bike industry alone would put them on a Mount Rushmore of innovation and of a pop culture hero, I think, because the traditional bicycle, ladies and gentlemen, that we usually think of, it is changing, it is evolving, and the electric bike is the newest staple in that. What an incredible character to be played as the electric bike. Our friends at RPM Bike Shop have a multitude of fantastic products that they can offer you. All you have to do to see them is go to their website, rpmbikeshop.com. View the pictures, check out how they can help you out today. You can also see that and ways to contact them on their Facebook page. So type in the Facebook search bar just RPM Bike Shop. If you want to drive on over there and you're located in northeastern Ohio, they're not too far away. They're in Carrollton, Ohio, or you can give them a call. 330-808-7792 to see if they belong on your personal Mount Rushmore of pop culture heroes today. RPM Bike Shop. Get yourself an electric bike today. There you go.
That read was electrifying.
Thank you. Ooh, nice. That's a pylon. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. All right. So Dean, why don't you actually kick us off here? You give us your first official entry. Not that I don't respect RPM Bike Shop, but for the interest of the, this is me introducing you to RPM Bike Shop. So the rest of my list will be, certainly people you're more familiar with. But go ahead, start us off.
Well, if they've been listening to us for the 3 years, they should be familiar with RPM Bike Shop. But my first entry onto the Mount Rushmore of my fictional heroes, right? So I'm going to start out with, when you're younger, you gravitate towards people you connect with, people you look up to, what makes a hero, somebody that embodies all of that for a young mind. And mine, of course, was Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny taught me, how to have the quick comeback. He taught me that the little guy can put the carrot in the gun and reverse the roles in life. Bugs Bunny.
So you just you didn't retain it though. You just kind of you saw it.
Bugs Bunny is a hero and an icon to many, and I am just one of those many. So Bugs Bunny is first on my Mount Rushmore fictional heroes.
Also taught Dean Nick how that he enjoys dressing up as Carmen Miranda.
But you got to learn somewhere, right? I mean, I'll never apologize for that.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
I can feel free and busty and eat delicious fruit from my head. Come on,
it's pretty good. I like it.
Pretty good. Can't hate that. Can't hate that.
Sure can.
He was questioning if I knew who she was. I know he was.
I know you know the cartoons. I know you knew who that would be. That's one of his more famous, actors or actresses he dressed up as. Good stuff.
Brian, who you got?
The first one I was just talking a bit off camera. I'm starting to watch there's a new special on Netflix about his life story. Sly, Sylvester Stallone. So Sly is on Netflix. It's a interesting story. I'm about an hour into it. It's like an hour and 45 minutes. Giving it a background of how he got into acting, his family life. I didn't really realize how tough his father was, abusive, really. His father was with him and his brother Frank. Overcame a lot of odds to get into the acting business. And Rocky was a picture that almost did not get made. He really kind of banked on himself to direct and write it and star in this movie. And he could have made a lot of money by just selling the script. He decided he's going to go for it and star in it. And obviously, it was a hit. He had some clunkers after that movie, and got back on track with Rocky 2, and that was it. The rest is history for him. So, just a very interesting man, and I love to hear those type of stories where someone he had to work hard to make it. He did not come from a background in the business. He had to just decide, I'm going to make this work. And so just something that I admire his story. I've always admired him as an actor. Is it fun? I love his movies, and I still like seeing him on stuff today, whether it be other movies or just him talking about what's important in life, and he's a family man, the whole bit. So Sly is on my pop culture icon Mount Rushmore.
I mean, does it get any better than Stop or My Mom Will Shoot? It doesn't.
I mean, he had some movies that were like, okay, not the best, certainly,
Yeah.
But some of his
Getty
movies
and
growing
Sylvester Stallone? Come on, man. That was fucking gold.
It should have been comedy gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did love that movie when I was a kid.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
He will shit on his own hero just to shit on me. That's good.
Well, you gotta have priorities.
I would.
If you don't have your principles, what do you have?
He would say, "Yeah, is that one of your better movies or not?" So he probably would say, "It wasn't quite as good, but yeah, we were proud of it." Anyways, all right. Nick, how about you? I have one idea. Who one person who might be on your list? I don't know if you're going to say it yet or not, but go ahead.
I think I know that too.
Well, I'll just start here. This is the whole reason that I had this idea in the first place. And that kind of is in step with Brian's last submission, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Sure.
You can't have simply, all I have to say, really, I'll go on a little more, I'll elaborate. You can't have a pop culture Mount Rushmore and leave out the leading man in Jingle All the Way. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Phil Hartman is on your list?
He gave us Jingle All the Way, so, I mean, there you go. But no,
it's in the National Congress, Library of Congress, I think. As well,
I believe it is, as it should be. Yeah,
it should be if it's not. But
it should be. But no, I won't go on too long. I've spent many previous episodes gushing over Arnold Schwarzenegger. I absolutely adore the man. I don't know that there's a single person quite like him, that like someone that is a complete fucking stranger to me, that means so very much to me, so deeply, as he does. I just admire. What's that?
What about your dad?
The people that I don't know that mean so much to me. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I hear good things about him too. It's just, but like Arnold, man, I don't know. I just, no, it's just it's so many different facets to it. From just a standpoint of admiration, I admire the hell out of just all the different phases of his career. Similar, not similar to Sly, the rough upbringing, very poor, had this dream of always moving to America and becoming
talking about gambling on yourself.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah, for sure.
Coming
I mean,
here,
making
yeah.
it happen with bodybuilding and being enamored with that, and then going, okay, I've done
Like Bugs
everything in
Bunny.
bodybuilding. Right, exactly. Yeah, I've done everything with hunters. Now I'm going to go antagonize this cartoon character, and I've
Right.
but he's done everything there's to do with bodybuilding. Goes in, he wants to be a leading man. You can't be a leading man. Accent's too thick. Schwarzenegger. Nobody's ever going to say it. Forget about it. Fuck it, does it anyway. You know what I mean? Just and doesn't matter that he's too big, and now makes being big, the in thing to do at the time, be an action hero, and regardless, is he the most incredible actor you've ever seen? No, but I will say I've seen him in a lot of roles too that I was like pretty damn good. I mean, especially given the circumstances, he's just incredible movies, and regardless of if he was a good actor or a great actor or whatever, the roles he picked were incredible. He's in. Probably his collection of pop culture relevant movies is got to be just unmatched. Whether it's Terminator or Predator or what, I mean, it's just like he's had so many hit movies, and then he went from action, did comedy movies, and there's a lot of family movies in there, and just keeps reinventing himself, and then taking public office and being the governor of California, and I just admire the absolute hell out of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I adore the man. And there really is nobody that I quite idolize. There's no one I idolize the way I do Arnold Schwarzenegger. So yeah, in a nutshell, there it all is.
You should pick up a weight or two.
I try. I think about it sometimes because of Arnold. I do. It crosses my mind.
Dean, what do you got?
All right, I'm going to actually. I know you guys are going kind of the route of actors portraying, but I'm going on the idea of character still, right? And this character for me, when I was a child, he was humorous, he was witty, but in the background of hell, the advertisement that this character had to show, and the stuff he had to overcome, and the way he did it with poise and comedy. And I'm talking about Hawkeye from MASH, Dr. Benjamin Franklin Pierce. To me, when I was a kid, I even understood as a kid, that all of these jokes were masking the horrors of war going on around him. To me, that was a hero. Was helping the people, even though his how he felt about the war itself. He was there just trying to help the soldiers coming through the hospital, right? And and the way he did it, and with compassion. And I mean, I could even get into actually Alan Alda himself being an activist and a writer and actor and director and all that. But I'm going to stick with Dr. Benjamin Franklin Pierce, Hawkeye from MASH, is my next. So that's my number two.
Great character for sure. Well, Nick, I'll just add on to you. Arnold was on my list as well, so I'll just we'll continue your thought for a second. So all the same reason you like Arnold. I mean, I'm a big fan as well.
I have
become more of a fan over the years. I said, loved his movies growing up. His movies are very popular, along with Sly with me. In high school and as a young guy. But what I like about him too is that he's made mistakes. He's admitted those. That's fine. It takes a lot to do that. But I like how these guys have continued. Really Sly too, but he just continues to evolve. And he's like, I'm an older man now, and one of his missions is to just try to be a positive presence out there and send positive messages for people, not only in fitness, but in other things in life. I know he just got his book and everything. So I just admire that about any human that's just like, what, I'm just trying to create some positivity out there and just motivate somebody in somehow, some way to do something.
Want to help?
Yeah, to help. Right. I was super motivated as a person, as Arnold, and I'm trying to pass it on to other people and hopefully make their lives a little bit better. I love all that stuff. I love the message. I love his podcast, the whole bit. Probably not me personally, no. But,
okay, gotcha.
But that's it. So yeah, several reasons beyond the fact that I love a lot of his movies. So good stuff.
Yeah.
So Arnold, on my idiot Mount Rushmore.
Nice.
Yes, sir. All right. Get in the chopper and give you
my next one is someone very specific to me. This gentleman has had a major hand in my childhood and a lot of the characters and creations and things that have followed me through my life. My what?
Your left?
My left? No, I'm a righty. Anyway.
Prove it.
Anyway, Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane, if you're not familiar, comic book creator, co-created the character of Venom, created Spawn, which has been the longest running original comic book in the history of comics. And it doesn't even just stop at comics or the character creations. The figures, the toys that they're hanging all over my basement bar here. The hockey figures he made growing up, and the football, NBA sports picks, and all that stuff. The music that he's worked with, he made music videos for Pearl Jam and Korn and Disturbed, and he just has his hands in every. He seems like to me he has the coolest life. Like anything that he's interested in, it's like he can do it. If it's sculpting of the figures or it's drawing comics, or he's another one. He's always putting out daily Instagram videos where it's just cool shit, or he's showing you how he draws stuff, or different, giving you tutorials on how to draw things. And I just think he's a really interesting guy.
Follow him.
He was an innovator. He was an innovator in his style. He has a very remarkable style. And when he first started working at Marvel and taking over as drawing in the Amazing Spider-Man, the way he did the webbing was very, he put so much detail in it. It was really groundbreaking at the time. I love Todd McFarlane. He's very involved in all the things that I'm interested in. It's whether he's in comics and music and sports, and I don't know. I just think he's a really cool guy. He seems like he just has the coolest life, and decided he was one that he worked at DC for a while. He worked at Marvel for a while, and then he had the courage to just simply say, I don't want to be under control of any label. I want to do what I want to do. And if I want to make a storyline dark, or I want to do this, I'm going to do it. So he branched out and helped start Image Comics, and Spawn's been a massive success. And he's still doing Spawn, which started in 1992. Was issue 1. So I just think it's really cool that he's just kind of played by his own rules, and he's made a career of not even just having to pick one lane. He's got his hands in many different things and excels at all of them. And Todd McFarlane has been a major presence in my life since I was about 9 or 10 years old. So, but yeah, Todd McFarlane.
That's a good one. Yeah, I remember I was collecting comics pretty regularly back then. Spider-Man was always one I collected. I remember when that issue came out, when Todd McFarlane was a new artist, and instantly on the cover, I'm like, what is this? This is different, completely different. And like you said, the whole style was very interesting and different. Arguably one of the greatest. He drew arguably one of the greatest Spider-Man covers in my book of all time. When he did Spider-Man #1, he had his own book for a while, Spider-Man #1. Yeah, and Spider-Man's kind of sitting there with all the webbing. There's T-shirts of it and everything else right now. So.
Yeah, and it's got his. I actually, specifically when I bought it, I made sure that it had the little mark of his signature. Some of them, when they reprint, they don't put the artist's name or whatever. They'll do different versions. They'll have the actual imagery. But it was very important to me when I bought the shirt that I have with that comic cover on it, that it's got the McFarlane stamp on it. But I know exactly which one you're talking about. Yep.
Excellent.
Okay. Very good.
All right. Ding.
All right. Again, I'm going to stick with characters.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't remember the rotation. Yes, it is your turn. Sorry.
I'm going to stick with characters because, well, the actor has a lot to be desired.
Kevin Spacey.
No.
I'm just going to say that. That's funny.
No, not Kevin Spacey.
My next one is
Not this guy isn't
Okay.
as problematic as Kevin Spacey, but the character itself is bold. He's genuine, informative. He brings the best out of not only the other characters around him, but also the audience watching. He gives something special to the universe in which he holds, and it's just captivating is the word that I would use. I'm gonna go for my number 3 on my Mount Rushmore of fictional heroes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going the Podlander, the Statman, Brian Fisher.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Again, the actor, problematic. We don't really want to talk about him, but the character, fantastic.
He does keep letting you show back up each and every week, so
That's true.
he's got his faults, but
Yeah, so let's not talk about the actor. I don't want to say the word garbage for the actor, but some use it. Some use it. I want to go a little better, but yeah. Brian, Statman, the Podlander is my number 3.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's very, very flattering. Thank you very much.
He's definitely got his hands in a lot of pop culture, and his influence is strong.
That's right.
He fisted me earlier.
There you go. And I have, I did star in I was a member of a Thanksgiving play back in first grade. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed.
Theater background as well.
I heard there's some adult films,
right.
if we can get our hands on them, are delightful.
Is a very young me wearing like a fucking like fake pilgrim's hat and everything. I have to find that picture.
Is that the first grade or the adult film I was talking about?
It could be both. Same hat. Same hat.
These cornfields sure could use plowed.
That's right.
Mister, why are you backing into the corn cob?
Did you see this movie?
Mind.
I think these are actual dialogue from the movie.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll talk about that another time. Okay, I have Dolly Parton on my list.
It's a real good one.
I just the more you learn about Dolly Parton,
pick, but all right.
Thank you. Yeah, right. No, we've talked about Dolly Parton several times on this podcast as well. But the more you learn about her,
saint on earth.
Hey, I just think she's so cool, man. Again, another artist. I don't even really listen to her music a whole bunch. I really need to do that more. She has a new rock album coming out with all kinds of really awesome lineup. Tons of people are on this album with her. After she got put in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, she decided, well, I guess I need to make a rock album, and just fucking did it. Why not?
It's just her doing covers.
I don't know about that, but no, it's just again another person had to work hard to make it, and just another. I mean, she had to overcome. I have to imagine the ridiculous, nuts, crazy shit that she had to contend with just from her looks, because she's a beautiful woman with a very shapely lady and all this and that. And just
Nick, he has to probably do the exact same thing.
Exactly. There's probably horrible things that she heard and had to deal with, but she chose to let that stuff empower her, and she could make fun of herself, and like you say, just the philanthropy and everything that she's done over the years. I just think it's a very admirable person, and definitely. She's made our list of people in the past on this show that, just people in general that would just love to hang out with. Nothing weird, or just to sit at a bar and have a couple of beers with Dolly Parton would be a fantastic time, I'm sure. So, Dolly Parton, gentlemen.
Good call.
Fantastic.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Nick?
My next one is Lorne Michaels.
Sure.
Lorne Michaels,
has
his hands in a lot of things. He's a producer, and he's behind the scenes of a lot of comedy properties and things like that, and certainly different cast members of SNL over the years that have branched out and had their own shows or their own, creative endeavors. But obviously, Lorne Michaels started Saturday Night Live, and the thing that I think is so incredible, and I think it all the time. I've watched SNL religiously since I was probably around 9, 10, 11 years old. what I find so insane, and now that on Peacock there is an actual channel that is just SNL 24/7 all the time, and it's throughout the years, just different randomly. Sketches could have been from last week, could have been from the 70s. It's just they're peppered in. It's at random all the time. They're constantly running. Comedy changes over time, and I've learned that a lot especially from watching that or watching old movies that either ones that I used to enjoy and then I watch again and I go, oh, okay, it's different now, or movies that I never saw that were hilarious
Or listen
or whatever.
to this podcast.
And then you're like, okay, it's just comedy evolves, and I think it's so admirable and just frankly incredible that regardless of if you think, I liked it better 10 years ago or 20 years ago or whatever your humor is, the fact is it's still relevant. All these years in, this is season number 49 or something like that, that they are able to evolve and connect with a current audience through all those years, I just think is insane. And it's the same guy. It's Lorne Michaels. He's not writing every sketch. They have writers. But it would be so easy for someone at the helm of a property like that to go, now we're branching. I don't like this. That's not my comedy. We're gonna do this, and easily, become outdated.
Well, there was only one season that he wasn't there, and it fucking almost got canceled.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, he is. It takes a lot to understand, to kind of have that understanding that you need to lean on people around you and to put the show above maybe. I don't know what his. That's the kind of the ironic thing about Lorne Michaels. If you ever hear him speak or watch him in an interview, he's a very dry man. He does not seem like the gentleman who would be in charge of a comedy mecca for nearly 50 years. But it's kind of funny that, and I don't know, I think it's really admirable that he's been able to maintain SNL status and keep it current for all this time. I just think it blows my mind every time I think about it. Lorne Michaels is on my list. He's on my pop culture Mount Rushmore.
Excellent.
Icon.
Very good.
Ding.
Good call. All right. I'm going to, this will be simple. You guys have heard me talk about him before. The character is inspirational. The character is wholesome, down to earth. Nick had briefly mentioned him in something earlier.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Slightly less
I'm quite inspirational.
No, I'm going to go with Ted Lasso as on my next step. It just, there's a lot of wisdom, and again, I know it's writing, it's not the actor doing it, but the writing for the show in general. But the writing for him was so delightful. I actually found myself earlier in the summer using a line or a bit from Ted Lasso with my son. When he was playing baseball and he struck out, he was all pissed off. I used "Be a Goldfish." Goldfish has the memories, for 10 seconds, and then they forget. That's what you got to do. You fuck up, you do something poorly, you do something bad. Be a goldfish. Forget about it. Move on. Start new for the next play, the next whatever. Ted Lasso is a fictional hero of mine.
Nice.
Excellent.
That's a good one.
Tell a bad joke, doesn't hit, forget it.
Yep. Be a goldfish. Move on. Yep.
Be a goldfish. That's how I run. That's how I do this podcast.
Forget it. Yep. Move on.
Did you say fat joke?
No, bad joke.
I was going to say, I would never do a fat joke. Unless it was about myself.
Are you learning from this? Nope.
Nope. Just keep telling bad jokes and keep moving on. Keep telling bad jokes and moving on.
Well, you notice that I do put 10-second increments in between them. So.
That's right. Yep. Harrison Ford's next on my list.
Sure.
Again, just another guy that certainly portrayed some of my favorite. I know our favorite characters of all time with Han Solo and Indiana Jones, certainly. So just his presence on the big screen is, I know we talked about him before too, but as a young kid, his presence on the screen was the first, that's what a fucking man looks like right there. That's a man right there. I'm not a man by far, someday when I'm a man, that's what I hope to look like. Well, obviously I do not, but still,
Didn't
as a
even
young
come
boy,
close.
it was like
Where is your
a
vest,
that's a
sir?
man right there. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Actually,
go ahead.
I told Megan earlier. I said, in this list, I could easily put Han Solo
Sure.
because it's Harrison Ford, and like Han Solo, you lie, cheat, and steal get to fuck the princess. Whose hero isn't that?
That's
Right.
pretty good. That's pretty good. No, but him as an actor himself, I mean, he had to make it. You know, he was doing carpentry on sets and different
Yeah.
things. Obviously, he was an attractive dude. What great, but he got himself into acting and decided, you know, I'm going to do this. And he, as we all know, he wasn't even supposed to be Han Solo. He was reading for other actors coming in, reading for the role. And then George Lucas said, you know what, you have something here. Took advantage of the opportunity and took off, and you know, certainly never looked back. So just his backstory, I think every time I see him on anything, I think he's just cool. I think he's also learned over the years not to take himself quite as serious and really embrace the fact that,
That's the cool
you know
part.
what, I play characters that a lot of people love. Han Solo, I may not have been a super fan of this guy, but a lot of people love this character. I'm going to embrace this over time and have fun with it and appreciate it. Come back and obviously play the role again in the last few Star Wars movies. So, go ahead.
Brian, we could easily do. Each of us have and separate a Mount Rushmore of Han Solo quotes from movies.
Absolutely.
And we could do. We could fill it up between the three of us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there you go. Harrison Ford. Nick?
Fantastic. Next on my list is a comedian who was in a lot of prominent roles, certainly in my childhood, but that's not even the main reason why he's in here necessarily. Jim Carrey is next on my list. Jim Carrey is very unique. I just really found the way that I was scrolling through Instagram the other day just to give you an idea of what I'm trying to say here with my words. I went through there was an Instagram account that showed a young Jim Carrey, and it was him doing impressions just by doing faces. It was like a Robin Williams one and a Clint Eastwood one and he's all these different Sammy Davis Jr. And just by contorting his face, you could tell exactly who he was without even any sound or doing a voice. He was so, and still to this day, is just so unique. Like, there's nobody quite like him. He was almost like something from another planet, the way he was able to physically embody people, to be a morph of sorts of people he was portraying. And certainly his comedy is very off the wall. I used to impersonate him all the time when I was a young kid. Loved his movies, the Ace Ventura movies and stuff like that. He was so zany and weird. Not In Living Color, he stole the show in most things he was ever in. And also, in addition to that, very interesting dude, very thoughtful guy, I feel like every time I hear Jim Carrey speak, I'm like, that's what an artist sounds like. That's how an artist speaks.
I get that.
He's a very interesting guy, and I just adore Jim Carrey. He's another one that, like, when he was younger, he was just so bombastic and crazy and off the wall and zany, and he still is all those things, but in his old age, I just feel like he really has settled into who he is, and he's very introspective, and every time I just can't get enough of listening to, like, Jim Carrey speak on things. I just think he's an interesting guy, a really intelligent guy, and I love that. I love that balance of the comedy and also being able to be serious when there's moments for that. And, when it counts. And I love Jim Carrey. So Jim Carrey's on my list.
Yeah, be more like Jim Carrey, Dean.
Yeah. Know when to be stupid and when not to be. God.
Gotta give a guy some warning. Come on.
This was all an ambush. Jim Carrey could take him or leave him. This was all just an ambush for Dean.
I get that. All right, so my fifth and final Mount Rushmore of fictional heroes. This gentleman is not he is a character, but it's not playing a character. Much like excuse me, much like Jim Carrey, he just exudes that it factor, right? Always has, always will. The when you say brilliance, doesn't even start to begin to state what this guy is, what this guy has, right?
You already said me already, right?
I did. I did. I can't do it twice. Sorry.
Okay.
And no, this guy's work ethic, his professionalism, but yet his brilliance. If you haven't thought about it or guessed it yet, boys and girls, I'm talking about Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, he went through the '80s and with just the brilliance of just he incorporated like everything that the '80s was by stealing from the '80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the professionalism, he wouldn't go to anybody, or he wouldn't do a song without their permission. He could have. I mean, parody is not, you can do parody and not get sued for it. But he had the respect enough to go to every single artist, and a lot of them, especially towards the end, it's an honor for him to parody their songs. But Kurt Cobain said the only way he'd let him do it is if he could play guitar on the track. I mean, the tragic story about his parents died in a carbon monoxide poisoning in their home, and they called and let him know like 5 minutes before that he was about to go on. And everybody, there wasn't a person in that goddamn arena that wouldn't have understood him canceling the show with them already sitting in their seats. But he said, nope, I'm going to put it, in the back of my mind. I'll deal with it when I get back. But these people paid to see, Weird Al Yankovic, and that's what they got.
That's pretty cool.
And if you saw the biopic, I mean, he fought a drug cartel. So, I mean, the guy was amazing.
That's right.
I mean,
that is still a good movie, man. If you haven't seen that,
so
watch it.
I have to ask because
You have to see it.
You have to see it. It's so
was
good.
that movie an exaggeration of him?
Yes.
Oh,
that
1,000%.
Okay.
Yeah. Big time. Big time.
Like the gist of the movie is real. Like,
so it's like
his name.
It's like Weird Al made a Weird Al parody.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what it is.
Yes,
100%.
That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Daniel Radcliffe playing him, and
he was a spy at one point. He had a drug problem like every other like 90s or 80s rock band. But again, he's been clean and sober from childhood. Yeah. But for this pick, he got into drugs and he got into women and everything he didn't do. Yeah. Like he was married to Madonna, I think it was.
That's right.
It's so absurd.
Yeah.
And Daniel Radcliffe really just proved me wrong because like as soon as I heard that he was going to play it, I was out. I'm like, no, bullshit. You know what I mean? It just didn't add up. But God damn it. And that's the funny part too.
It goes into the absurdity of it. Like it plays into the whole thing. That,
because Daniel Radcliffe took his shirt off and he just jacked.
Yeah.
And obviously Weird Al is not, shredded. Yeah. But yeah, it's so good. But the guy, if you ever hear him in interviews, he is one of the most humble, delightful human beings. As a celebrity goes, you can't get much better. So my final one is Weird Al Yankovic.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Great pick. Yeah, never took himself seriously. And he knew that was part of his appeal, I guess, too. But he genuinely never took himself too seriously, which is fantastic. Yeah.
And he was so broken up when Coolio was actually... When the one person ever got mad at him with Coolio.
Yeah, I remember that. It was like a VMAs thing. And he was... Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. But what you going to do?
Yeah. That's very good one. My fifth one, Keanu Reeves.
That's a good one. Call. I almost put him on mine. Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. That's good.
Honestly, just from his... I mean, I do like his movies.
I
love the John Wick movies. I like the... Bill and Ted. Even I loved him back then. And but all that stuff's great. But just as you get to know the person... And all the stuff you see him on interviews and different things. He's just like a I know we all agree, but just seems like a genuinely nice man, nice person.
He
just
almost
so
has
cool.
He almost
Go
has
ahead.
a little bit of that Arnold effect as he's not necessarily the greatest actor. He's fine,
Right.
but he picks the coolest movies. Like he's in the best movies that you love, and also seems just like a really genuinely good person that you want to root for and you want to get behind. And it's that kind of thing. That's the same reasons I almost put him on mine. Is I was just like, I remember saying that about Keanu Reeves. Like, it's not that he's a great actor. He's fine, but he's in cool. He knows how to pick the roles. He's in cool movies
Yeah.
always, and
Point
he's
Break.
cool.
If you don't watch Point Break and just want to just fawn over his coolness, like, oh, the chicks are gonna be like, oh my god, he's so beautiful. Like, dude, you're in awe of like how fucking cool he is.
Right. Yeah.
That's probably every movie, really.
Yeah, obviously, just some of the most successful franchise. Between The Matrix and John Wick, those two franchises alone, I mean, just making a killing in the box office, in part because of his appeal. You know? So anyway, and again, all the videos and everything you see with him with the fans and everything like that, just so awesome. And now he made a comic book that's of a superhero, and he's making a movie apparently as the superhero that he helped create. It's in the comics right now.
There have been these rumors about him joining the MCU.
Yeah, that would be cool.
He's turned it down a couple times, because you see those things where it's like he's turned down MCU stuff, but like always remember that Keanu Reeves opted to be in the SpongeBob movie as he's in like the SpongeBob movie and like a tumbleweed or something. But they're like he turned down like millions and millions.
Didn't he play God or Jesus or something along those lines?
Something. He was like some. I didn't see the SpongeBob movie, but I think he's some type of voice of reason, or this epiphany they have, or something. Is this voice that gives them guidance?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
he should.
He played Duke Kaboom in Toy Story, the Canadian Evil Knievel. You gotta love Duke Kaboom.
Sure,
there you have it. Yeah. All right, so Keanu Reeves for several reasons.
Good. Yes, Nikolai. Your final draw.
My final submission, I don't have as much to gush over, but I don't need to, because this gentleman, I'm just going to say his name and you'd be like, absolutely, hands down, no questions asked. This guy should be very proud. He is only the second non-Canadian to make my list, so that's really saying something. James Earl Jones. He is the voice of Darth Vader. He is the voice of Mufasa. He is the villain in Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones, for whether you agree if he's of the stature or this or that of some of the other ones that any of us have named, the fact of the matter is, he in pop culture, his voice most certainly is unmistakable, undeniable, and irreplaceable. There will never be another James Earl Jones, and I just felt like because of the impact he has had in films and pop culture, I felt like he deserved a spot on my Mount Rushmore as well. So I put James Earl Jones as my final submission.
And let's actually take a moment and realize his brilliance, not just of acting, but just business sense. For Star Wars, George Lucas couldn't pay him what an actor of his caliber was going for. So instead of paying him the $7,000 that it would have taken, he offered, and this is true. I just read this actually yesterday. George Lucas offered him points on the back end of the movie, meaning points on merchandise, points on ticket sales, and he chose to take points rather than get paid for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That is the brilliance of James Earl Jones.
And that's also dumb luck, because nobody expected Star Wars to do what it did.
Hey, but who knows? I mean, hey, I'm gushing over his brilliance.
Or maybe he saw something in it that was like, this is innovative. Yep. This is cool.
Because I'm doing he actually even considers, if you ever ask him, he doesn't consider himself Darth Vader. He will always say it's David Prowse. He says that he was just a tool for the character, that he was not the character itself. So I think probably in that he's like, well, I just did voiceovers. Yeah, I'll take points. So if they sell a lunchbox, I'll take 2 cents.
Sure,
whatever. I had fun doing the voice, and then boom. Or he could have been a savant and going, you know what? I see something in this. This is going to be huge. I'm going to become a fucking billionaire because of this. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that's what happened.
Yeah.
And of course, one of his greatest roles of all time, Coming to America.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The King.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Field of Dreams.
Yeah, that's
People
right.
will come, Ray. And people do come every time they hear his voice.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Was that 5 for everybody? We complete the 15. There we go. All right.
We have done it. You want to recap?
Sure.
Yeah.
My top 5 were Arnold Schwarzenegger.
But go ahead.
Well, I said it. I'm doing it. My pop culture heroes or idols are Arnold Schwarzenegger, Todd McFarlane, Lorne Michaels, Jim Carrey, and James Earl Jones.
Good. Dean?
Mine is Bugs Bunny, Dr. Benjamin Franklin Pierce, Hawkeye from the television show MASH, the Podlander, the Statman, Brian Fisher, not the actor, but the character, Ted Lasso, and finally, Weird Al Yankovic.
Brian.
Excellent. I also have Arnold, Sly, Harrison Ford, Dolly Parton, and Keanu Reeves.
You imagine the orgy Brian's list could have? That's a good looking party there. That's a good looking party.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, just jump in there, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See what you get.
Probably herpes, but see what you
come up with.
That's right. That's right. Well, another place you could jump into and see what you get is at Golden Heart Tattoo in Norton, gentlemen. Jump in there, see what happens. Maybe get yourself a tattoo. Maybe you get something else. I don't know. I've always got tattoos there, but you hear things.
Come on, Nick, show
not sure. Not sure exactly. Plenty of work done here.
I know.
Scott's done great work on all of us as Greg. I always say his name wrong. Greg.
Yeah.
I always say Gary.
It right,
it's not Gary. It's Greg. Yeah, Greg.
Gary.
That's right.
I like Gary. Gary character.
At Golden Heart Norton on Facebook and ORTON. Look them up online, goldenhearttattoos.com, or give them a call at 234-706-2982. And as Nick mentioned before, it may or may not answer the phone. Just go to the website or the Facebook and look them up there.
But in person, Scott will French kiss you as you ask him politely.
Sure. Yeah. It's extra, but it's okay. It's good.
Worth it.
That's right. That's right. Gentlemen, we have done. We are trying. We are trying to make your pop culture Mount Rushmore out there someday. One of these episodes, we'll get there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. That's right.
Yours isn't good enough, apparently. He's not satisfied with making yours.
Fuck your list.
Alongside Bugs Bunny. He's like, fuck you.
Both were made in the 30s.
Well, if anybody's going to make somebody's pop culture Mount Rushmore from this podcast, it's probably going to be Millennial Nick. That's what I think anyway.
That's right. People love him.
As they should. So, for this episode of Convincing Idiots, we would like to invite you, if you've not already done so, feel free to find us on all your favorite social media accounts. That way you can find pictures of us, maybe copy and paste, put our pictures on your personal Mount Rushmores. You can find all of our social media accounts on our Linktree. Just go to Google and type in Convincing Idiots, Linktree, Linktreee. You can also find where you can listen to this podcast each and every week. So please like, subscribe, rate, review on all the platforms. Find us on your favorite podcast catcher. You can also find that information and our merch store, so much more on our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So, for this episode of Convincing Idiots, I am Millennial Nick.
I'm the Zennial, Dean.
Gen X Brian.
Have we convinced you to come join us with the ranks of the heroes and idols in your life next week on Convincing Idiots?
Yeah, what's up, Doc? Everybody, Gen X Brian with Millennial Nick and Zennial Dean. We need more people besides Nick's mom watching us. Give us a like and subscribe.
Ham gravy.
You're falling asleep. You should, you know what I mean? You should wake up. So like I was dreaming in a dream that I had sleep apnea. It was very strange. But you still wake up in a panic. Like, was I not breathing or was that a dream? I couldn't tell. But the thing is also when I woke up, I wasn't out of breath. You know what I mean? Like you would have been if that would have happened. Did Nick not care about my story so much that he fucking left?
Just turn off the lights.
Holy shit.
I don't need to listen to your shit. You're going to die in your sleep anyway. What am I going to put up? What, I got to invest more in this friendship when you're not even going to be around that much longer? Like, what the fuck?
I'm glad we're recording this because if it happened tonight, what an amazing fucking bit of tape this would be.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Nick
I'll come back.
crying and no, I'm hot in your ass.